Howdy everyone, hello and welcome. I'm the Black Shadow and welcome to this little update video. I know we've just did a really big one just a few days ago regarding the situation on the channel. I deliberately didn't talk very much about Resident Evil 3 and Project Resistance, deliberately because I was basically waiting for Capcom to announce news regarding demos and the rest of it, which I'm sure were very, very soon coming. And the short answer is, well, they're here. So it's time for me to talk about it. Announcements have been made for the demo for Resident Evil 3, as you can see here on March 19th, that is this Thursday, as well as a open beta for Resistance, which will be on March 27th, the following Friday. These have been coming, they've definitely been coming for quite a while. I'm a little surprised they haven't been announced before now, considering the demo goes live in 3 days, it's not been announced yet. Been a bit of a surprise, but then I guess in the current times and climate, like, anything is really particularly hard to predict. March 19th, obviously the demo being released on Xbox One, PS4, as well as Steam. I will be on the day playing the demo, and I will be recording. And I will be uploading the demo to the channel for you guys to have a look at my thoughts and bits and pieces of the demo. I assume the demo is probably going to run rather similarly to what Remake 2 did, in that it gives you basically like 30 minutes or so just to have a blast through a section of the game, and if you beat it, great. If you don't, so be it. It's not a disaster. I imagine that's what it will do, which is more than enough. That's all you really need for a demo. And it's kind of a weird demo as well, because like, especially with Remake 2, when it came out, obviously was so different to kind of anything that had come before it. It was definitely a real kind of foray into a different kind of way of playing Resident Evil, whereas this obviously is rather similar to Remake 2, so it's not exactly going to be probably showing off too much graphically wise, but it might show off some fun little bits and pieces here and there in regards to how the game is going to work in the more sort of nitty-gritty. Now, the second thing to make mention of is the Project Resistance open beta. I keep calling it Project Resistance. I don't know why. It's Resident Evil Resistance. I don't know, it just seems easy for me to say. Anyways, so that'll be going up live on the 27th. Some of you guys will remember back to a couple of months ago it was now, when I streamed over on Twitch a couple of days worth of content of the closed beta that we got onto. That was done via the Xbox One, if memory serves me correctly. The open beta is going to be, I assume, on all three platforms as well. And I suspect I will probably look to do some streaming of Project Resistance. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky because, of course, the weekend, the 28th and 29th, I've already got booked to do streaming of Resident Evil Remake 2. So if I'm going to do any streaming on this, I suppose it would be probably on the Friday, which is when it comes out, depending on what time of the day it actually comes out. So I will try to do best what I can. It's possible I might do some during the week, however, at the very beginning of April. This brings into the other news that has certainly been announced via the UK, that we have now been advised to avoid all kinds of unnecessary contact heading outside in order to help fight with the coronavirus. So that means that basically lots of my evening stuff that I normally do is all either cancelled or about to be cancelled. So I'm going to have a bit more time at home, which means I can probably look to do bits and more pieces like this as well. It should help with me doing recording in an ironic sort of way. This probably makes my life as doing a channel probably somewhat easier, is the rough around of that. Anyways, but yeah, so the beta will come on the 27th. If I can, I will do some streaming on the 27th of the beta. If not, then I will probably find a chance to play around with it during the lead up to April 4th, assuming that the beta remains open. I don't have any idea when it may or may not close. I also want to use this as an opportunity to actually talk about Resistance again. I've not really discussed Resistance since I did my review of the beta a couple of months ago. I've not really talked about Resident Evil 3 either, for that matter. And this is partially due to the fact I get a lot of real-life events have kind of kept me away from being able to follow the events and development of these games over the past couple of months or so. So it's very possible that some of you guys know more about these games than I do at this point, and that is just the nature of it. Resident Evil 3, I'll talk about a little bit more on Thursday about bits and pieces in regards to the game that I do know of and various bits. There's obviously been rumours about, like, safe rooms were going to not be safe, and then obviously there's misquotes, that sort of thing. There's been some misinformation on RE3, unsurprisingly. But As for Project Resistance, I wanted to go back through it because the game has now seen some development since we delved into the beta. That's the word I'm looking for. And as you guys may well remember, I'm probably one of the more optimistic folks for Resistance overall. Like, when I did the beta, I definitely acknowledged that the game was not in any way, shape, or form perfect, but I still think there was a lot of potential for this to actually be quite a decent little title. And again, as an ironic side effect, with people being told to stay home to help fight with coronavirus, it's very possible more people are actually going to end up playing this when this comes out because there's just going to be more people at home looking for stuff to do, and they ain't going to be going outside and socializing. So this game might ironically benefit from the outbreak of a virus. Life sometimes is great. Anyways, so obviously, it comes as part of Resident Evil 3. You can get hold of those pre-orders. Obviously, plenty of gameplay trailers here. If you are interested in seeing some gameplay, I would encourage... I'll put a description in the... a link in the description below of my playlist of a selection of games I played from my Twitch series that I did over that weekend. So you can have a good look through a lot of gameplay, both from Mastermind and Survivors, including several cases of me team carrying, but that's kind of just the way it goes. If you're unfamiliar with Mastermind at this with Resistance at this point, I should say, it is a 4-on-1 asymmetric online survival horror. Basically a breed between Remake 2/3 and a bit of Outbreak, I guess. It's about as close to Outbreak as we're ever going to get, and involves with 4 survivors having to cooperate in order to try and escape a facility of the Mastermind, kidnapping them and kind of doing crazy shit with them. It's a thing that they do. They get Mastermind using cameras and such, and to direct their efforts. Again, watch the footage, that'll be fine. But what I wanted to talk about down here is there have been of some variety of new characters that have now been announced. And I assume this is what the beta is going to be largely for, to get people a chance to play around with these new characters. We do have 4 original characters we had, being January, Valerie, Tyrone, and Samuel. We now have 2 new survivors. We've got Becca, the park ranger, who is who is basically a firearms specialist, whereas Samuel is like a melee specialist. And we've got Martin Sandwich, what a name. Who, let's see what he gets here. So during mines, blinding flashes, basically like trying to use like equipment and bits and pieces like that. He's an engineer, so he's using his machinery skills in order to kind of hold off the baddies, which sounds good to me. So there's there's up to 6 characters, then there'll be more of that. As for our masterminds, the ones that we already knew about was Daniel Fabron, who's the original character for the game. There's been 3 new masterminds now have been announced for the game. There's bound to be probably more going on. We've got Annette Birkin, who is been announced. She can her special every mastermind has a special monster basically, or thing that they can cast. Fabron has access to the Tyrant, which is pretty cool. Annette calls upon her own husband in the immediate form and take control of G. Birkin. We've got Alex Wesker, who is not Annette was rumored, wildly makes sense. Alex I hadn't thought of, but makes perfect logical sense for this, and I think it's actually quite an inspired little choice. So she has a developer of Yatevio? That. A plant-based bioweapon reminiscent of Ivy in Plant 42. And one that really caught me by surprise, actually, was Oswald Spencer, who's also been brought in as a 4th mastermind, who uses inscrutable umbrella technology to turn the battle in his favor. I don't know if there's been gameplay demos of these 3 masterminds in action around on the net. I'll be honest, I haven't looked. I've had no opportunity to do so. But let's face it, how we stand at the moment. 4 masterminds, 6 survivors. We probably will get a handful more of these, I'm sure, after release and stuff, bits and pieces. I wouldn't be too surprised at all. As far as, yes, experiment facilities, so we've got, obviously, the one we started off. There's a couple of extra stages that have already been announced. A casino, as well as an abandoned park, and I'm sure there'll be more going on. The casino looking very, very adorable. And some images as well of bits and pieces. This is all available on ResidentEvil.com/resistance. You can go and have yourself a look at this, as well as some other information as well. But yeah, no, I'm definitely looking for Resistance. I reckon it will actually be quietly quite a fun little game. and I can easily see myself putting in plenty of time into this. I think it'll be great. Yep, great. Lots of stuff with Becca here. Apparently, Capcom really pushing her by the looks of it. They're like, here's Becca, here's more of Becca. There you go. So there you go. So a bit more details on Resistance there to let you guys know. So yes, that's basically all for this little mini update video on the events transpiring. As I've said, I will endeavour to get up a video on the RE3 demo on Thursday. It might not get up until the following day. It's possible. We'll see what we can do. When Resistance goes live on the Friday, I will attempt to do a stream on the day. Depends when about it comes live. It may just be too late in the day for me to do much on that. And when we get to having the game up and live anyways, the plan still is, I am still looking to do like a weekly stream of Resistance, probably on like a Sunday or something. It may vary. Again, the next sort of like 8 to 12 weeks of everyone's lives is very hard to predict. But that's what I'm looking to do about once a week to do a stream of Resistance, in which case anyone who has the game, I'll be playing on PC, mind you, but anyone who has access to the game is more than welcome to join, and I know several people already are going to be interested in doing so. So, thank you very much for listening, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take really, really good care of everyone yourselves. And I'm sure I will see you all soon.